flips, tries to throw it off of Warren.
Oh, numbers, here we go.
Here's Banchero to the iron, down Bay Street, to the rim. Ochai!
They had numbers. Hello! Bring it with Major League Force.
Another game, another loss for the Toronto Raptors. Undermanned, they fought valiantly, but ultimately were outmatched against a playoff-bound Orlando Magic team that had 6 players score in double digits.
I thought that in the first half we did a pretty solid job outside of those 2 first minutes to start the game. After that, I thought that we did really good job of fighting, and we kept them to 2 offensive rebounds only in the first half, and we were able with our aggressiveness to come up with steals and opportunities for us to run in transition. But as the game progressed, their physical attributes came to the full light.
The Raptors played well in the first half, limiting Orlando offensively by pinching in on drives and really containing Paolo Banchero, who finished the game 5 of 15 from the field with 6 turnovers. Offensively, the Raptors were led by Trent Jr, who put up a season-high 31 points, but Toronto couldn't get much anywhere else as Orlando pulled it out in the second half with some hot shooting.
Again, just because I may be sat playing and not playing and benched and not benched, and opportunity may be gone and opportunity may be here. Again, I can just continue to work and again, control what I can control, try to be a good teammate, try to be a good, person, player, go out there and just try to help to contribute towards winning as much as I can. That's really my only main focus that I really have.
The Raptors have now lost 6 in a row, the longest active losing streak in the league as they battle through injuries and absences. But that provides extra opportunity for the other guys to see what they can do. And I thought defensively, for the most part, those other guys, mainly Ochai Agbaji, did a good job tonight. The Raptors really understood the assignment when it came to guarding Paolo Banchero, really bothering him on these post-ups, and Ochai Agbaji was the main assignment, making sure that he always had a hand up on these shots, making things difficult off of the catch. Even this time, look at the amount of help and attention that Paolo is seeking just on these jump shots. They want to force him into a lot of passes, a lot of tough passes, and that's what they did tonight, causing 6 turnovers. You see here, Ochai gets into his grill, Jordan steps up, then Jordan is able to get the block as well, and it's all about making things uncomfortable for Paolo as a decision maker on the floor, who is still trying to figure out how he can be a playmaker as well. This time, Ochai gets in his grill, really great late contest there to force Paolo into a tough shot. I thought Ramsey was really great too at this aspect. Paolo is always going to get his stuff off in the post, but the Raptors were helping above the break and really sending him into tons of help, and they were timing this help in order to kind of throw off Paolo's timing himself. This time it causes a turnover, Raptors get out and running. And this time, same thing. Trent Jr. makes Paolo pick up the ball. Paolo second guesses where to go. Ochai really stays home, does a good job defensively, and that forces the travel call, another turnover. So ultimately, I thought the Raptors did a really good job of sticking to the game plan when it came to Paolo, and they made him struggle in this one. Albeit the rest of the team got going. Jalen Suggs had a great game. I thought Franz Wagner, who didn't shoot that much, but when he did, he was effective at kind of drawing the defense in and kicking it out to other players. Jonathan Isaac had a really good game as well, and overall, folks, I don't know what to tell you. Orlando is just the better team right now, especially with how undermanned the Raptors are. And so they lost this game. And I think, given where the Raptors are at in this season, just talking to a couple people today, it just seems like a lot of people are just waiting till the season ends at this point. I mean, there's not that many games left. We're about 4 weeks left of regular season basketball for the Raptors, and I'm not sure how many more of these will result in wins, but given the absences and injuries for this team, Barnes unlikely to return at any point in time, Jakob Poeltl unlikely to return anytime, RJ Barrett, condolences to the Barrett family and to RJ himself for the loss of, it's unspeakable to even think about it, but the loss of Nathan Barrett, RJ's younger brother, and who knows when RJ will return. Obviously, that's completely fine. That's not the point. But regardless, this team is going to be missing a lot of players. And I just don't know how this team is going to look in the next month or so. If you're banking on wins, folks, I wouldn't bank on wins, if that makes sense. I do want to talk about the Magic a little bit. If you guys are okay with that, you guys can, leave this video here if you guys want to. One of the things that caught my, actually, before I jump into the Magic side of things, I do want to shout out Ramsey, who was really effective defensively tonight. I didn't see that over the first couple of games he had joined the team. I'm liking the aggression on the defensive end. I'm liking how much he's, his quick feet, his ability to like telegraph plays is showing off a little bit more. And it looked good against Orlando tonight. He was the one who caused a couple of those turnovers for Paolo. And so I want to see more from that. The Raptors obviously extended his 10-day, gave him another 10 days to see what they have. Darko Rajakovic post-game said the same thing. It's like, hey, yeah, we're not really sure who he is as a player, and so we want to, give him that extra opportunity to show what he has. So excited to see how that looks over the next 10 days. And I think if I'm looking at like main storylines here for the rest of the season for the Raptors, it's Grady Dick's development. How much more juice can Emmanuel quickly squeeze out of, being the primary guy on a team here? He had 10 assists again tonight. What can you get from Jordan Nwora, Gary Trent Jr.? How can he maybe develop a little bit more as a playmaker, defender? And that's about it, folks. And we'll see how the lottery balls fall by the end of the season. Desmond Bane is especially apparently going to be back on Saturday for the Memphis Grizzlies, so that might change some things for them. Maybe they end up pulling out a couple more wins and the Raptors slide into 6 easily, but we'll see what happens. On the Orlando Magic topic, really fascinated to see how this team looks in a playoff setting. Their defense is good. They have an incredible amount of length on that team. You think of Franz Wagner, you have Paolo Banchero, Jonathan Isaac coming off the bench, you have Mo Wagner and Goga Bitadze. They just have a lot of length. And then even at the guard position, Markelle Fultz, Jalen Suggs, Gary Harris, like they have really stout point of attack defenders. So defensively, you can see how that team will look in a playoff setting. Offensively is where I have some questions and how they're going to be able to get their game off in a playoff setting, because Paolo loves to operate in that high post, mid post area, kind of cook. And we saw how I don't want to say it was easy, but the Raptors had a game plan to take him out of the game and make him, pick up the ball and force him into bad passes. And that worked for the most part. And the Orlando didn't really succeed in trying to get Franz involved. In fact, it was more Jalen Suggs and Jonathan Isaac and, guys like that who made them pay. And so I'm sort of wondering how Orlando is going to look in the playoffs when teams will deploy that type of defensive scheme. It's like, hey, we want the ball out of Paolo's hands. We're going to force pickup points at awkward moments and awkward timing, send doubles when you're not expecting it, et cetera, et cetera. How are you going to react to this? And by the way, it's going to be his first playoff series. Like this is naturally a part of the progression of this. And so I'm fascinated to see how Orlando counters, because I think they should use Franz Wagner more. And maybe they will. Maybe they do. I watch Orlando a lot, so I feel like I'm still missing more Franz. Like you need more Franz in Orlando's diet. But that also has to do with, Paolo's ability off ball and how willing he's going to be a mover off ball, because I think Franz, his game and his skill set matches to be a little bit better off ball than Paolo does. And so I think they're just doing that because they want Paolo to be the primary initiator and Franz to be the guy, creating off of the weak side. I'm just curious to see how this team looks offensively in the playoffs. They're not the greatest offensive team, and in the half court, they definitely aren't. And so I imagine they will struggle come playoff time. And I think that'll be really important for this team moving forward. Yeah, them's the breaks, folks. Raptors play Orlando again on Sunday, so you'll be hearing me talk about them a little bit more on Sunday. Maybe that game will be more interesting. Maybe the Raptors gain some health some way or another. And yeah, we'll be back for more recaps. We got 16, 17 of these left, maybe 18. I don't know. I've lost count at this point, folks. But subscribe to the Raptors Republic channel if you haven't already. Samson is doing his live pod, I'm assuming right now. I'm sure he's doing some great stuff. Listen to that if you will. yeah, I did some writing on Dwight Powell that should be out on Raptors Republic right now. So if you want, go ahead and read that as well. And we'll see you guys later. Take care. Bye-bye.